All right, as you may have seen in parts 1 and 2, we've designed, sliced, covered our prints in plaster, and they're ready to be poured. So we have the molten aluminum ready to go. Check out this video to see what happens. So here it is. In the end, this is what we've been waiting for this whole time. 2 days worth of working. It was to actually pour the molten aluminum into the cast. And here you see we poured it in the center so that it would actually fill up the entire mold, and then the idea was that it would pop out through the smaller air holes in the side. It didn't quite come up all the way through, so we tried to fill in one of them here, but the other two little nozzles in the bottom of the rocket actually didn't get filled with aluminum. But you know, it worked out great. It poured out wonderfully. I actually caught the edge of the kind of plastic bin there, but in the end, it worked out. It worked out wonderfully. And so, using our swimming pool in almost sub-zero temperatures here, we cooled the rocket quite quickly. It was actually pretty warm in the center actually when we pulled it out, but the pool was probably about 40 degrees at this point.
That's crazy.
I thought it takes a good half hour for it to cool down.
And here we are. We actually pulled it out of the actual mold. I tried popping it out, but it just, I think the molten aluminum stuck to the edge of the plastic there, so we actually had to just, you know, just destroy the bucket or the little cup there. It didn't really matter. And as I showed before, the actual plaster cracked a lot when we melted out the PLA. But in the end, it held together well. Putting it in the actual container here, we used rubber bands to make sure it all stayed together. And if anything, it made it very easy to remove the rocket because it was basically crumbling anyway. And here you can see it still steaming, but it was really, really neat. It came out great. Very exciting to see it actually kind of pop out, and all the cracks filled, or all the pieces of the rocket filled, and there's only a tiny bit of the cracks that showed up in the actual model. Yeah, and you can actually see the heat from the rocket changed the color of the actual plaster where it was touching, which is pretty neat. So yeah, as we kept pulling more of the plaster off, it was great to see how well it turned out, because we weren't really sure what would happen with this. It's still pretty hot, but you can see the cracks actually, as I mentioned, showed up on the actual rocket, but you know, it didn't really matter. It's still something fun to play with, and it's a completely solid aluminum rocket, so that's even neater. And the actual pieces here underneath the fins popped right out. The bottom plate, that's you know, the overflow can just be cut right off after all that work and all that effort and all that prepping. But having a solid aluminum part from a 3D print is something else. It's really neat. And this is obviously before polishing and cleaning it up. But you know, our logos both in the front and back of the rocket actually showed up, and there were some spots where you can actually see the layering and everything. So we hope you enjoyed the videos of us getting to this point. Here we want to show you the final results. So the rocket, as you may have seen, turned out really nice. So it was really cool to polish it up. We just used some stainless steel and like a steel brush, and it really came out great. You know, it's solid aluminum. We don't even mind the cracks. I'll come in a little bit so you can actually see the detail. But it really came out great. You know, the bottom, we missed one or two of the little fins here, but this was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to try this one again. You might be wondering what happened to the actual plates. Well, they didn't work out as well, but you know, it still was a lot of fun. Here's the actual plastic we used for the plate that you saw. This is the gCreate one. And then here's that result. So we managed to get one good pour out of this. You know, the rocket itself came out pretty good, but around the lettering, we just couldn't get the sand to stop sticking to the actual print. So there's probably a lot we can learn on this. We definitely want to try this again. If anything, we want to try the plates with plaster, because the plaster seemed to work out much better. But and we apologize, we didn't have any footage of pouring this because we just tried so many times and it just wouldn't work out. So we didn't even know if this would come out. But in the end, here you can kind of see this here. Here's the detail. We managed to be able to sand down some of the actual lettering, so you actually could read it a little bit. But this was a very challenging one. Here's the back. You can kind of see. We didn't actually do this inside of sand, so the back surface actually was just exposed to air. But hey, it still came out. So anyway, we hope you really enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun doing this aluminum casting. It's been something we've been wanting to try forever. It's really cool to be able to take an amazing 3D print and make a solid aluminum model out of it in your backyard. It was a lot of fun. So As always, check out Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at gcreate3d if you want to see really cool things happening all the time. Keep on printing, guys.